this now is an example of the next delivery I get with Subscribe and Save, which is kind of to a certain extent replacing my nutrient intake. So I did decide to basically, as the main ingredient for my meal shakes, I would have protein, and then I would just add things on top of this. I still eat lots of normal food, but this is I just wanted to have this as also an option for whenever I want to continue working, whenever I want to continue what I'm currently doing, and also if I am out and about and I just am sitting in a train and I cannot have like a super large meal, or I cannot just spend 30 hours on cooking now, then I can just drink a meal shake instead. And so I also recently added eggs. This was quite a problem because if you buy raw eggs, then you first of all have to cook them, which is also a time investment. Not necessarily investment, but a time cost rather. And so you also then have them cooked, and then you have them in the fridge, and then you need to peel them, and then they have a protein bioavailability of, I think, cooked eggs of about 1. But since I batch prepared them, and I also don't have my fridge on all of the time because I sleep in the same room as my fridge. Not necessarily that my fridge also sleeps, but I just turn it off in order to reduce noise, in order to optimize sleep. Now, what this meant for me is that I had eventually sometimes eggs going bad because I made so much of them, because otherwise, well, I should have probably made a little bit less because they were basically too much in terms of how much I produced versus how much I consumed. But nonetheless, I found out that egg powder has due to the process of this being produced, first of all, now this is currently a higher price compared to what I otherwise would get, but I found that a cheaper egg powder I had before, and this is the only one that sells with Subscribe and Save and is at a reasonable price and also sells for 1 kilogram. But the one I had before actually sold for about the same price compared to eggs at the grocery store. Now, keep in mind, if you buy eggs at the grocery store, there is water in it. So what you need to compare is the egg equivalent, because the powder obviously does not have water in it. And this meant, and I did not realize this, and in the beginning, let's say a year ago, I already looked up something like this, and can I get my eggs as a powder? And this resulted in me thinking that there was a 10 times margin on this, because, well, I thought, okay, 1 kilogram here, how many grams is an egg? About 60 grams, and then this doesn't make any sense because this is ridiculously high priced. But what I then found is that the equivalent is kind of the same. So with the previous powder, I got one 500 gram bag for €8, which was in terms of price the same. So 100 grams are 8 eggs equivalent, and so I calculated this a couple of times, so it could also be wrong, but I think then for €8 I basically could have gotten 40 eggs, which at €2 per 10 box of eggs, or box of eggs of 10 eggs, would result kind of in the same price. And this is the reason I then introduced egg powder also, and this is now the only one that sells with Subscribe and Save, and this is a little bit more expensive. You are seeing this costs €25 per 1 kilogram, and the other one costs basically €16 per 1 kilogram.